Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Ninja's here to showcase you guys another Blue Eyes deck. I do have a couple more variants on my channel. That if you guys want to check those out, but this one's going to be pure-ish. I think pure is kind of tough to just play in general. So I added a few elements to this to try and make it a little bit better, more consistent. A little less bricky, hopefully. It has been less bricky and a little bit more consistent for me. So, I mean, if you guys build it and it works for you too, that's awesome. Or if you guys find some tweaks that you think could improve it, or maybe make it a little bit more consistent, let me know in the comments below. That'd be awesome. Uh, However, without further ado, we are going to jump into it. As you guys can see, we've got the three blue eyes to start it off. What are we doing here if we're not running three blue eyes? And, you got to go with the God card art right here, man. Got to love that card art. Then we got three alternatives. This is your choice. Like I've said in my previous videos, um, two or three, it's up to you. I like three just because one, it's the pure version. So I want to see it more often with blue eyes in hand. And also, I just like not missing on melody, like not having an alternative to grab off of melody. So I run three. Your standard one Dragon Spirit of White. You can run one or two. I really don't recommend three. I don't think I've ever seen a deck profile with three. If you guys want to run three, that's on you. Do you, man? But I only run one. Um, I guess to keep with the blue eyes stuff, I've got uh, two Whitestone Ancients, two Whitestone Legend, and two Sages to kind of round off our tuners there. Um, I like the twos ratio. You guys can mess with the ratio however you want. I do like seeing blue eyes a little bit more in this build because of a couple of cards I've added. Um, so I do like the two Whitestone Legends. Two Ancients is fine with me. You could bump it to three if you really want to in this build, and I'll tell you what you can take out in here in a little bit. But I think two is fine. You see it enough, and you can always search it with Sage. So you basically got your 6 stones right here. With the two Sages added onto it. You can run three Sage if you want. I haven't really missed it too much, but I could bump it up to three and bump one of these up to three as well if I really want to. But for now, that's the ratios we're running. To add on to blue eyes to kind of try and make it a little bit better, a little bit more competitive, and a little bit more consistent, I'm running two Nebula Dragons. Um, I think Nebula Dragon is pretty good with this deck. As you know, you search for your blue eyes a lot with your white stones and all that, and your melodies. Uh, Considering you're more than likely going to have a blue eyes in your hand, using two Nebula Dragons to try and summon out your Nebula Dragon and your blue eyes on the board really helps out a lot. Helps make your uh, rank 8 plays. Same with Galactic Spiral Dragon. I think it's pretty easy for this board or for this build to see two light or dark dragon monsters on the field, and then you can pull out your Galactic Spiral. A lot of people only run one, if any. I like two. Um, as you guys can tell, I don't know. I'm just big into the twos, I guess. But I like two. You can run just one if you want. It is searchable off of a card I'll show later. Um, I think being able to dump it down to your graveyard and use its effect from there to summon itself, or use it as a trade-in target and then you can still get value off of it from summoning it from the graveyard if you have 2 light or dark um, dragon monsters on board. So I think it's really good. It gives you another level 8 for trading, like I just said. Um, don't really need to explain it too much more other than that. Also, it can turn your level 1s here into level 8s. So it's another plus, if you want to go for rank 8 plays or whatnot. Then you got Legionnaire. Pretty self-explanatory. This card's really good. Don't ask me why I'm using the other. I don't know. I kind of like this card art better than the other card art, but let me know what card art you guys like in the comments below. Post a picture or whatever. I do like this art better, but it's just me, I guess. Legionnaire is pretty good. I know we're only running lights, as you guys can see, except for Galactic Spiral Dragon. Our main deck is all lights. So that means you're going to be using his revival effect a lot to help get another rank 8 on board. So him and another rank 8 to go into your rank 8 plays, or to grab another link monster, or if you want to synchro summon, you can grab a rank 8 and then grab a tuner on board or something. So really good in this deck. You can bump it up to 2 if you really want to. I was actually considering it, but 1 seems to be enough since you can search with Melody. And then moving on to our last monster other than hand traps, we got Seafort. Now I know Seafort's pretty pricey, but I highly recommend at least snagging one of these guys. Like, I'm sure you guys can find, if you guys find other alternatives to Seafort, let me know. But guys, this card really helps out a lot. It is the best normal summon you can have in this deck. Normal summon it, and you can trade any of your level 8s for another level 8, or one of your tuners for another tuner. It's really good. You can't really go wrong with it. You can also recur it from the graveyard. You can recur this card from the graveyard for a follow-up play next turn with Nebula Dragon. These two in the graveyard, Nebula Dragon and Seafort in the graveyard, is pretty good because Nebula Dragon can banish itself to add Seafort back to hand. Seafort can banish itself to add actually any of your level 8s back to your hand. So if you guys can get your hands on 3, I would do so if you can. If you can't, at least try and get 1. It's a really good card, guys. It really helps the consistency a lot, and it really helps you see the cards you want to see. I like it. Grab it if you can. Moving on to the spells, we got 3 Melody. It's your typical searcher of the deck. Really good card, especially if you combo with like a stone. You can get more value off of Melody. Speaking of the stones, I run 1 Cards of Consonance. If I was running more of the stones or sages, I might bump it to 2, but 2 gets a little iffy if you don't, because if you see it and you don't see a stone, it's literally the biggest brick ever. So right now 1's fine because when it hits really well, and you get a lot of value off of it. But if it doesn't hit, then kind of stings a bit. Then you got trade-in. We're running a ton of trade-in targets, so I'm keeping it at 3 right now. I really like it at 3. Whenever I see it, I more than likely have a target, so I run that. Same with Return of the Dragon Lords. We are running a lot of level 8s, so we're keeping that at 3 right now. I could drop it to 2 if I really, after doing some more testing, if I think it bricks more, but I think it's fine right now. I've done a lot of test hands and it hasn't been much of a problem yet. And then we go on to our next card. The only field spell we run, that's Dragon Ravine. I think Dragon Ravine is one of those other cards that helps the consistency of the deck, because you can, dump some of, like say one of your rank 8s, like say you have Spirit of White in your hand, and you want to, rotate it for Blue Eyes, you can activate Dragon Ravine, dump your Spirit of White, and then dump your White Stone of Legend from your deck, and then boom, you have your uh, Blue Eyes White Dragon in hand. So it's a really good, I don't know, it helps the consistency, it helps you rotate cards in your deck, and also helps you deck thin a little bit so your trade ins and cards of consonants and stuff help a little bit more. So I really like it. I am only running it at 2. Might bump it to 3, but we can search it with Romulus, so 2's fine for now. Going on to the foolish burial cards in Dragon Shrines, just one Dragon Shrine, one foolish. It's a pretty typical combo. I feel like um, I don't really see too much of a variance from this with much profiles. Maybe Dragon Shrine at 2, but yeah, I don't mind it at 1 and 1. Obviously you don't want to have 2 Dragon Shrines in your hand, otherwise you kind of cry a little bit. So um, we try and stay away from that as much as possible. And then we have Monster Reborn. Obviously, it's your generic Reborn card. If I could run more of them, I would, but one's fine. This is one of those cards you could easily substitute out if you want something else, though. Because we have already got the 3 Return of the Dragon Lords, but it does help, like if you want to revive a stone or your Seafort or something, or if you want to take one of your opponent's problematic monsters out of their graveyard and slap it on your board. So, playing it at 1 because it's really good, and we can only play it at 1. Onto the hand traps. I'm only running 2 Ash. I haven't played online enough to know. I'll be honest with you, I haven't played online enough to know like what hand traps are the most viable right now. So, I think from what I hear, Ash is still pretty good. You can trade it out for whatever. You can trade it out for this Ghost Mourner if you want, or you can trade it out for something else. But you can also take out a card here somewhere and then bump in a third one if you really want to. But I'm running 2 and then 2 Dark Ruler. I feel like these 4, I see them enough in my opening hands that I don't need to bump the ratios up at all. But if you guys feel like you're not seeing them enough, then you might want to. But Dark Ruler no more, I think, other than Nibiru might be a good replacement for Ash, but Dark Ruler no more, I think, is probably the best way to go right now. It's really, really good for breaking boards, especially if they don't have a back row spell negate. Obviously, because neither player can activate monster effects in response to that card, and in response to Dark Ruler no more. So why would you not be playing it right now? With all these combo decks going on, a lot of people aren't playing back row unless you run into your Altergeist players or whatever, and then Dark Ruler no more is probably not even the best card to run against them. You should probably side it out. So I really like this card. Might bump it to 3 and then might take a card out and bump or keep Ash at 2 or something. Or maybe I'll just put it at 3 and run 41 cards. I don't know. But like I said, I think I see him enough that that's fine. But without trying to drag the video on too long, we'll hop into my extra deck. But before I hop into my extra deck, guys, I really, really, really appreciate you guys tuning in. It means a lot to me, and I really appreciate you guys' support. So if you guys made it this far and you haven't done so already, please, please, please hit that subscribe button. I am a growing channel right now, so I'm looking for all the support I can get. It's in the bottom right corner. Just hit that notification bell too while you're at it. And, it means a lot to me if you like it. Share this video, subscribe. I'm trying to get out there as much as possible. So you guys can make that happen. I really appreciate it. But let's hop back into it. Into the extra deck, we've got Striker Dragon, just to try and keep along with the light and dark dragon theme because of Nebula. Nebula, unfortunately, locks us into light and dark dragons, but that's pretty much how we play anyway, so that's not a big deal. Striker Dragon and Anima. for our 2 level 1s. The reason I'm running Enema, I'm kind of just trying it out, and because if you have to normal summon one of your tuners, you can do that and then tag it out for Anima, and if they have a monster underneath one of the extra monster zones, then you can snag it up. Really good card. I've used it a couple of times. It performs pretty well when you need it, but it's also one of the cards I could cut because it's not, a lighter dark dragon, so it kind of messes with the consistency a little bit. But usually, if you're linking it off, you can link it off before you summon Nebula Dragon. That's typically where you're at with those plays in the beginning. You got Triple Burst to have a link 3 Dark Dragon monster. Got some decent effects, but that's one of those I wouldn't be too sad seeing taken out if I need to. Erratic Seal is probably one of the best starting board cards you can have right now. I like setting it up because if a deck relies on their normal summons, then you can just usually bounce the normal summon and they have to sit there and think of a follow-up play. So Heavenly Spheres is pretty good still, I think. Like I said earlier, Romulus helps us search for our Dragon Ravine. It also lets us special summon from our hand if we Xyz summon to an arrow that it points to, or a zone that the arrow points to. I think Romulus is good. It helps us get that card advantage with Dragon Ravine, so you always want to. I try and go into Romulus whenever I can, as long as I'm not locked into Light and Dark Dragons, because unfortunately it is a wind type. But it's not too bad if you can get into it before you summon Nebula. And you got your typical synchro package here: Blue Eyes, Moonlight, and Azure Eyes. Don't really need to explain that too much. And then I've got 2 other typical packages, I guess. You got the Dragublion. I feel like I said that wrong. You guys can hate me for it in the comments if you want, but whatever. Dragublion package with, you've got number 38 Hope Harbinger, you've got number 92 Hard Earth, and number 100 Numeron. That's pretty typical. I mean, you definitely see number 100 and Hope Harbinger together. You got the OTK factor and you got the spell negate here. But number 92 is optional, and it's also you can run any other number dragon monster that you like more in there if you want. I kind of just like this one, so I stick with it. And then you got your typical Galaxy Eyes package here. You got Cypher Dragon, Full Armor Photon, and you've got Cypher Blade. Take, pop, typical board breaking stuff right there. If you guys are going second, it's probably the package you're gonna go for, and try and help get some problematic monsters and cards off the field. As for a side deck, don't even look at that, guys. I'm just those are kind of just cards that I was testing in and out of my deck, so don't even worry about looking down there. But if you guys enjoyed the video, I'm trying to keep it shorter. It is pushing the 20-minute mark, but if you guys enjoyed it, definitely like, subscribe, all that good stuff. I really appreciate your guys' support. If you guys see any changes you would make, or if you guys want to mess around with this deck, you more than welcome to. Also, the program I'm using is EDO Pro or Project Ignis, if you want to call it that. Either way, I'm gonna try and get that link in the description if I can, and then I'm also gonna link my Twitch page. If you guys like watching, like Dragon Ball FighterZ or Modern Warfare, Warzone. If you guys like watching any of that or some other games, I'll have my Twitch account in the description as well. So definitely check that out as well. Thanks, guys. I appreciate you. See you next time.